Welcome to Silent Secrets, the channel where we uncover the hidden truths, the uncomfortable realities, and the psychology behind love, loyalty, and betrayal. Here's the truth most men don't want to face. Women cheat differently than men. It's rarely an accident. It's rarely impulsive. When it happens, it's calculated, prepared, and justified in her own mind long before she ever crosses the line. By the time you notice, it's usually too late. That's why so many men get blindsided. Not because the signs weren't there, but because they were ignored. But betrayal doesn't just appear out of thin air. It happens when three very specific conditions collide. Three silent triggers that, once in place, almost guarantee she will look elsewhere. If you don't know what they are, you are vulnerable. But if you do, you'll recognize the danger signs long before she betrays you. In this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through those three silent triggers, the psychology behind them, and the red flags that reveal when it's already happening. So let me ask you, can someone look you in the eyes, whisper, "I love you," and still betray you behind your back? The uncomfortable answer is yes. And while that truth may sting, it's the first reality you must accept if you ever want to protect yourself. Too many men live under the illusion that love automatically equals loyalty. But if you've been alive long enough, you know that the two don't always walk hand in hand. Why "I love you" doesn't always mean loyalty. The problem begins with definitions. Men and women don't always define love in the same way. For most men, love is simple. It's passion, desire, physical closeness, and companionship. If those are present, he feels secure. If those fade, he feels abandoned. But women interpret love through a much wider lens. Psychology often breaks it down into 4 categories. Understanding these 4 dimensions is key to realizing why a woman can tell you, "I love you," and still betray you. Eros, the fiery, intoxicating passion that pulls people into each other's orbit. It's addictive, thrilling, and it's what most men crave. Philia, the friendship bond, the steady companionship that remains even after passion cools. Many women can feel this deeply for their partner while still craving passion elsewhere. Storge, the unconditional love of family, like the love between a parent and child. A woman can feel this toward her children while feeling emptiness toward her partner, agape, selfless, giving love. The type of love based on values or principle rather than passion. Here's the twist. When you ask her, "Do you love me?" she may genuinely say yes, but what she means could be philia, while what you desperately want is eros. In her mind, there is no contradiction. She may believe she still loves you, even while her actions betray that very love. That's the blind spot where so many men get trapped. Love, in her definition, is not always loyalty. And if you cling to the idea that it is, you'll never see betrayal coming until it's too late. The 3 silent triggers that lead women to cheat now. That you understand why love doesn't guarantee loyalty. Let's break down the 3 powerful conditions that almost always push a woman into betrayal. Silent trigger number 1, when she craves. Variety and feels starved. There's a popular belief that men cheat for variety and women cheat for emotional reasons. Many men nod along and assume women are naturally more loyal. But here's the truth. Women crave variety too. They just hide it better. When a woman feels starved in her relationship, starved of intimacy, starved of attention, or starved of excitement, she begins looking outward. Picture this. She still cooks dinner. She still takes care of the family. She still smiles across the table at you. On the surface, she looks like the perfect partner. But at night, when you're asleep, she's scrolling through messages from another man. Not because she doesn't love her family, but because the hunger inside her has become unbearable. That secret craving turns into a double life. The danger is this. Men often assume that providing financially is enough. That paying the bills, working hard, and keeping the house running equals being a good partner. But relationships don't run on autopilot. If she feels unseen, untouched, or emotionally ignored, she will find someone who makes her feel alive again. And here's the brutal irony. She may justify it to herself as saving the relationship. She'll tell herself, "If I just get this need met somewhere else, I can stay with him. I don't have to leave." But what's really happening is you're being replaced piece by piece. By the time you notice, the emotional bond has already been broken. Lesson: if you don't meet her emotional and intimate needs, someone else will. Silent. Trigger number 2. When respect slowly fades. A woman almost never leaves suddenly. Long before she physically walks out, she emotionally walks out. By the time you notice her coldness, her distance, or her silence, she has often been detaching for months, or even years. It doesn't always begin with another man. Sometimes it begins with you. Maybe you thought you were being strong, but you became controlling. Maybe you thought working long hours was noble, but she felt invisible. Maybe you assumed love was permanent, so you stopped doing the little things that made her feel special. Over time, the respect she once had for you erodes, and once respect is gone, love withers right along with it. On the outside, she may keep smiling, laughing at gatherings, and saying, "I'm fine." But inside, there's a growing emptiness. And here's the most chilling truth. Once a woman loses respect for you, regaining it is almost impossible. At that point, cheating is less about passion and more about escape. It's about finding relief from disappointment. It's about convincing herself that she deserves to feel alive again. Lesson: when respect dies, loyalty dies with it. Silent trigger number 3. When fear and circumstances push her to build a backup plan. Not every betrayal comes from passion. Sometimes it comes from fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of financial instability. Fear of starting over. A woman doesn't always cheat because she's deeply in love with someone else. Sometimes she cheats because she feels trapped in her current life. Instead of walking away, she clings to your stability while secretly building a backup plan with someone else. That man becomes her safety net, her soft landing. It can start small, venting to another man, leaning on him emotionally, confiding in ways she no longer does with you. Over time, that bond grows stronger than what she has at home. In her mind, she justifies it. I'm not abandoning him. I'm protecting myself. But what she won't admit is that each step she takes toward that other man is one step further away from you. Lesson: when she feels unsafe with you, emotionally, financially, or socially, she may quietly build her exit strategy in another man's arms. The 6 warning signs she's already preparing to betray you. These 3 triggers don't exist in theory alone. They show themselves in her behavior. If you pay attention, you can see betrayal unfolding before it happens. Here are 6 of the most common signs. Her phone becomes untouchable, always in her hand, face down at dinner, taken into the bathroom. Suddenly it's a vault, mysterious disappearances. She's unreachable for hours, with excuses that don't quite add up. Sudden obsession with appearance, extra time getting ready for small errands. Wardrobe shifts that don't match her daily life. Shift in attitude, irritation, coldness or dismissiveness replacing warmth. Small lies, catching her in unnecessary fabrications. Dishonesty becomes habitual. Communication breakdown. Conversations shorten. Texts turn into one-word replies. She stops sharing her inner world with you. Each of these alone may have an innocent explanation, but when they begin clustering together, when you see secrecy, coldness, and disconnection stacking up, you are no longer looking at coincidences. You are looking at a pattern, and here's the key. Your gut will sense it before your mind accepts it. Ignore that instinct, and you risk being blindsided. Why women cheat differently than men. This is where men make their biggest mistake, assuming that women cheat the same way men do. For men, betrayal is often impulsive. It's about opportunity, lust, or ego. A man can step outside the relationship, then return without emotional attachment. For women, betrayal is rarely impulsive. It's a process, a build-up, a series of justifications and detachment long before the physical act. By the time she crosses the line, she has already walked away emotionally. She's not just chasing a thrill, she's seeking validation, connection, or escape. That's why her betrayal cuts so much deeper. Because it's not just physical, it's emotional. And here's the harsh truth. Once her heart is invested elsewhere, winning her back is nearly impossible. Part 5. The brutal but freeing truth. Let's put this all together. Women cheat when they crave variety and feel starved. Their respect for you fades into emptiness. Fear or circumstances push them to build a backup plan. Add to that the 6 warning signs, and you have a clear map of betrayal before it happens. But here's the gut punch. Men are almost always the last to know. Why? Because they refuse to see the signs. They accept excuses. They silence their instincts. The truth is harsh, but it's also freeing. You cannot control whether someone chooses to betray you. What you can control is your awareness, your standards, and your response. You can choose to stop ignoring your gut. You can choose to recognize patterns instead of swallowing excuses. And most importantly, you can choose not to beg for scraps of love from someone who already gave her heart away. If you've been nodding through this video, it's because you recognize these patterns. Maybe you've lived them. Maybe you're living them right now. Don't let denial destroy years of your life. Don't cling to a ghost. Stand tall, face the truth, and protect your dignity. Because no matter how painful the truth feels in the moment, it will never hurt as much as staying blind. If this video hit you hard, that means it was meant for you. Don't keep it to yourself. Share it with another man who needs to hear this. And if you want more raw truths about women, relationships, and the psychology of love and loyalty, subscribe to Silent Secrets. Like, comment, and share. Because every time a man learns these truths, that's one less man walking blindly into heartbreak.